Well, hello there. Well, today is the last day of Nano for those of us in the US. Most people are now done since they're ahead of us, time wise. I see Melanie and Hayden are here. Welcome, guys. Glad to see. I hear that Courtney is streaming, so there may be a lot of people. Not that I get a lot of people anyhow, but I don't know how many people will be jumping over there to see what's going on. I used to always see Courtney's used to keep up with it, and I miss it, but I'm doing my own. Yeah, Tessa's Tuesday. uh, that's one way of reminding yourself. Tessa Tuesday, T2. Yeah, I love the music that goes with that timer. That's one of theirs, but that's pretty neat. I happened into it. I didn't even realize it played music, and I'm like, oh wow, I like that. It's not just a timer, but it has a really nice intro song to it. Melanie's doing really well today. How about you, Hayden? And the ending of it reminds me of church. Yeah, it does a little bit. I almost missed it. I wasn't paying attention to the time. As it is when I got up, the alarm went off. I'm like, oh no, I'm late. The aide should have been here. And I thought, wait a minute. It says 7:30 and it's dark out. It means it's nighttime, not morning. I have a stomach ache this morning, tonight. I don't even know what time it is. I have a stomach ache, and so I don't know. If it doesn't go away soon, I may end up ending before our 2 hours. Depends on how I feel. I had a stomach ache yesterday too. I don't know what's with the stomach ache. It's a pain. Hayden says I'm done with Nano, so I've had to set up some new goals. I was going to go for 30K, but I lowered it to 25 and set up a spreadsheet. Took me ages, but I did it. How about you all? Yeah, I don't have any goals. I usually don't set goals. I'm not a goal type person. And uh oh, she's going later. I'm just reading my I had to in order to read Instagram I had to go on my phone. So I have it open here and I see that she said Jen says it'll be later, so later than mine. Oh, it was on record. It recorded what I was saying about the stomach ache. Oh jeez. This phone. Um but I'm glad you got done with Nano. I believe you won it if I'm not mistaken. NUL won. He was on earlier on Instagram putting that he had finished. I knew he was close. I didn't even basically get started. I got a few thousand words in, but it was like in 3 or 4 different stories, and so yeah, I'm not doing too much. But I'm not surprised because the November one of 50,000 word goal is too much for me. Well, that's good. I'm glad a lot of people won. I wasn't one of them. I prefer the camps because I can set my goal to something more reasonable. and that I feel that I can finish. So camp, I usually don't have a problem with. It's the 50,000 words that I can't do. It's just too many words for me. So I prefer the camps. Yeah. Melanie has a short story. She started a few weeks back. She wants to continue tonight. I have a short story I wrote, and I started editing it, and then I just kind of, like everything, it was right at that time, and I just couldn't get myself to add it, to actually do it. I haven't even tried to go to my group, that, the live group, because I have nothing to offer. I haven't written anything. I don't feel like writing anything. My nerves are like really bad. I think once this move is over and done with and I'm settled, I'll probably feel a lot better. Once my nerves are settled down, hopefully I can write again. But right now, I just don't feel like doing anything. And Funky won't be here tonight, so he usually manages between you and Jenna to keep Melanie and Jenna keeping things happen. So we don't have any you know Funky to keep us going today. This is one of my worst writing slumps. I mean, I've gone months now, and I just don't feel like writing. And I'm not exactly sure, but I've been so stressed out about this move and everything, and it's taken forever, and I don't know what's going to happen. And, it's like my mind is running, 50 miles an hour on what's going to happen, and it really does a number on me. So I'll be glad once I'm settled and know exactly what it is I have to look forward to, because right now I really don't know. And they really don't know. They don't really have everything in place. They're not ready to go. I mean, they're letting people pick their rooms, but they're not ready to do anything. And there's a lot of construction work still being done. The place is not done. They're trying to get the at least resident part of the building done. I don't know what the other part is, whether it's just more residents or if they're. I know there's going to be a pharmacy included in the building, which is helpful. Not having to run out to worry about, getting them having to worry about getting different things, because they'll have a drugstore there, which is nice. But I don't even know if that part's ready or built. It should see me finding this place. I found the place, and I pull in, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. And I'm looking around the parking lot, and I see notes on doors, so I'm trying to go see if I can read what the signs say, because they're not real big, and it's like I drive past one, and then it says, do not enter this, I said, oh, obviously this is not it. So then I pull around, and I see only one other entrance. And then when I look at that, that's where the couple cars, there's only a couple cars there, because they're not, fully staffed, and nobody's living there. So, there were only a couple people there, so there were only a couple cars. But that's where the cars were. So I went down, and I tried to read it, and I couldn't see it. I said, well, I'll just wait for my daughter, and we'll walk up, because it's the only other door. And I'm pretty sure it's in the right building. So, yeah. Once I calm down, hopefully things will go a little easier. Maybe I'll be able to write. But I just haven't Even journaling, I can't keep up the journaling. Every now and then I'll journal for a little bit, but I'm not going to use that. Hopefully, you guys can see and hear me fine, and whatever happened last time doesn't happen again. But I'm not going to use that um, timer. I mean, I don't know if it was the timer that caused the issue. That's one thing why I hate messing with these timers that people make. If they end up screwing things up, and then once it's screwed up, I can't get back in, and I have to start a whole new thing. So okay, good. I'm glad it's whatever it was. I rebooted it and everything, so I hope that whatever was wrong would not be wrong again today. I was thinking about making a new template for the thumbnail, but didn't feel like it. Didn't have much time, and so I had enough time to grab something to eat because I went back to bed after the aide left and went to sleep. Didn't even do much reading. Like really tired. I couldn't sleep last night. Hayden says the only reason I finished this year is because I had several long car rides. Well, see, that wouldn't help me any because I don't write on a laptop, so and I don't write by hand either, so that wouldn't do me any good. That would just be wasted time. Plus, I get sick in cars if I had long car rides. Oh God, I don't know if we'll be moved in by Christmas. My daughter doesn't want to have to move me now at Christmas time. She says she'd rather them wait until after Christmas, 9:15 sharp. Well, since everybody's clocks are different, I can't guarantee that it'll be at 9:15 sharp. I can go up. Mine says 9:15, but I can't guarantee what everybody else's clock is saying. Yeah, it's 2 minutes exactly. So, hmm, you slept less than I did, but I had a nap later on where I slept. I slept all afternoon, and when the alarm went off, I'm like confused and I didn't know what time it was. All right, well, let's see. Timer, timer on, and set the timer for 20 minutes. It's already set. I did do that part. So I'm ready to start at my 9:15. Like I said, I don't know. We all have different times on our clocks. All right, it's 9:15. So I'm going to start the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All righty. All right, Hayden, you must be in the next time zone. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so it's 9:15 here. All right. Well, they made it 9 hours last night. Made it through the whole day with no nap. That's good. I know that's hard to do, especially once you get in the habit of it. I'm used to taking a nap now, and without my nap, what a mess. All right, I'll see you all in 19 minutes. Boy, that went fast. Looked up and it was there already. At least this one has the notification when it runs out. That's good. Well, congratulations then, y'all. You did a great job. You finished it. That's great. I don't even have my YouTube open at this point. I can't even click on it. But thanks for stopping by and giving your support. I appreciate it. I hope nothing serious is wrong, Hayden. Yeah, it can be. Unfortunately, typing, a lot of typing can cause carpal tunnel. I have it, had it for years. I mean, like, since the 1990s. Because I got it when I was working in the factory, and the constant same movement all the time caused it. Hi, BA. Hi, Gibberish. Boy, you guys popped in real close together. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, there are a couple of things it could end up being, and I get it from my the problems with my diabetes causing neuropathy, and there's so many things that can cause. There's different things. Unfortunately, I spent time with the splint on my hand and trying to do dead entry where you have to type really fast, but it's kind of hard to type with your hand and splints, being held like this and trying to type. So that was a little problem. I never did have the surgery because I knew so many people that had the surgery and then had to have it again, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get it all over again. So hopefully it's just a one-time thing and or it's a warning sign. You could always get a splint and wear it at night to bed, so that because that's when I noticed it. I'd wake up because I tend to sleep with my hands curled under me, and my hands would be numb. I'd wake up and I said to the doctor, I said, the weirdest thing is happening and I don't understand it. And I told him about the numbness of my hands at nighttime, and immediately he says, it's probably carpal tunnel. I'm like, what? Because I had never heard of it before. And it's repetitive motion, which typing, of course, can be. And at working at the factory, then I wasn't typing much. I was working at the factory and doing the same thing with my hands. Everything was the same, movements, and so I had quite a bit of problem there for a while. I wore the sprints every night to go to bed. I just didn't wear them when I was working. A couple times I had to, though, because it was just so bad. My fingers are a problem right now. The fingers themselves are bothering me because of my diabetes. I had tendonitis really bad. Yeah, yep. I wore braces. So many of them. I can't find them. Of course, now that I want one, the hand was bothering me and I couldn't find one. Hi, Dee Dee. Nice to see you. Well, it's nice you stopped by to say hi. My internet went crazy the other night and they lost me. The weird thing is, I could see me, and everything was fine, but they couldn't see me. So I don't know what was going on with that. Very strange. Computers and technology. It's hard. Yeah, you might actually have to just rest it for a while. Not use it. Try to keep it straight. Try not to bend it. Because with the carpal tunnel, you bend that nerve in there, and that's what causes it to, go numb and have pain and whatnot. So you need to keep it as straight as possible. So those splints are made to keep you holding your hand straight. And they suggest you wear them to bed. And if it gets really bad, then of course you have to wear them during the day as well, which is problematic, especially like with me. I had that job. And when you do data entry, you have to do it quickly, and you can't do much quickly when you got a brace on your hand. Mine comes and goes. It was so bad there for a while. I thought I was going to have to get the surgery, and I went to the surgeon, and the surgeon says, "Well, the first thing I do is give you a shot of steroids," which was one of the most painful things. And it didn't work. And so it was like, well, then the next thing they think about is surgery. They don't automatically go right to surgery. And surgery doesn't work for everybody. So it's a pain. I hope yours heals quickly and it's not a problem. Yeah, well, see, I was under the impression I was sent to a surgeon, and I was under the impression that they were doing surgery. So I was trying to, get myself, comfortable with the idea. And then, first thing he says is, "Oh, no, we don't start with surgery. You have to go through and have a shot first to see if that works," which it didn't really. But I just said, screw it. And eventually it went away. It comes and goes. Yeah. They require you to have surgery. You know you got an issue. I mean, I had to have the EMG done, the nerve test, and that was painful having them. And I've had several of them over the years for other nerve damage, and they always say, "Well, I forget what the term is for having more than one nerve, you know, damage." My hands always came up as being damaged because they've got nerve damage. It's there. It's not going anywhere. But I had a lot of pinched nerves in my back and neck, unfortunately. And those are hard because they're sticking that needle in and poking those nerves, which hurts. It's so long I forgot my husband actually has some neuropathy in his feet. He was diagnosed with it 10 years ago. Yeah, it's the other thing that's my problem with my diabetes. I've got the neuropathy in my feet, and in my fingers. So I never know if it's carpal tunnel or if it's the neuropathy from my diabetes. I just don't know. It's really hard to know for sure what is causing it. I had to check the washer. Mm. Melanie says I'm going to go ahead and start unwinding for the night so I can get some good sleep in again, hopefully, for therapy in the morning. All right, well, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. See you again and have a good day of therapy. Hayden's going on an excursion tomorrow, so I've had to search for some khaki pants. Mm. Night, Melanie. So are you reading tonight, Gigi, or just hanging out? Oh, it's in Tennessee Supreme Court tomorrow for a school project. Interesting. A field trip. Yay! Mm. Gigi's reading tonight. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. Same author, different series. Thing is, I'm getting to the end of each series only to find out they're not done, so I have to wait till the next ones come out. So instead of finishing a series, they've got a bunch of series started, and I guess maybe that's how they keep you, buying more because you can't finish that series, so you move on to the next one, and they keep you hooked. Tomorrow I'm going to the hospital to visit someone, so I gotta be up early, even though I took 3 separate naps today. Oh Lord. Yeah, visiting in the hospital is no fun, so I'm sure you'll be glad when that's over with. I got painting class tomorrow. I don't even know if I should just keep doing this because I may or may not finish these pictures before it's time for me to move. I don't know when it's going to be time for me to move. Or I may get them done. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not really feeling I'm not feeling like writing. I'm not feeling like painting either. Yes. I hate when I can't finish a series either. And it's like, you can pre order it, it'll be ready in 4 months. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because, they have all the books listed, so I'm thinking the whole series is laid out, not realizing that all the books aren't written. They just have them all there so you could pre order them. They're not even written yet. And that's like, I'm moving along and I'm really interested in the series, and then boom, and then I start another one, and the same thing happens. So it's like, I'm sure it's part of their reasoning for keeping people coming, because they want to finish the series, so they're going to keep coming back. And they have to start a new one or somebody else if they want to. Whereas they have so many books, so many different series. I just start another series, and then I ran into the same problem. None of these series, well, I can't say none of them are done. Like, I finished this one, but yet it's linked to another series, so it's not really done. It just keeps going. So, yeah, I really hate when they do that. Hopefully, nothing happens and they get to finish the series. I don't even know if anybody's writing today or not. Because today is the last day in Nano, so some people may be rushing to finish it up. Others have finished and are just taking a time off. Taking a break, from all that crazy writing. I hate it even more, speaking of, series ending, when the person passes away. And well, there's not going to finish that series, obviously, unless they have. I mean, some of them have had like outlines written and somebody else took over the job of finishing it, but not all of them do that. Feels like, if they're a pantser or whatever, they don't have outlines for people to follow, and it just kind of ends, and that kind of sucks. And it does happen. I went into the library one day and everybody was sad, and I'm like, what's going on? And they go, oh, such and such, I forget the name of the author right now, passed away. I'm like, what? Because I'm thinking, I'm in the middle of their series now, and you mean there is no more? Can only finish what's left, and then there won't be any more. And I'm like, oh man. Now I know why everybody was so sad. Because you didn't get hooked on a series. It's hard when it's hard enough when it ends because they ended it. It's even worse when it ends abruptly because something happens. Well, I guess we can start another sprint. I don't know if anybody's writing anything or some kind of torn, because standalones are great because you're not going to miss out on something. Whereas with a series, you never know when it's going to end or how it's going to end or why it's going to end. But I like series because I like getting into it, involved in it, part of make it part of my life, and I'm really involved with it. So at least with standalones, you don't run into that problem of them suddenly stopping the series and you can't continue on. So that happened with Sue Grafton because she said absolutely no ghostwriters to finish my series. If I pass before I'm done, series is done wherever I'm at. We're not. She says I don't want, you know, a ghostwriter writing my book, and her family followed her wishes. I looked it up and I saw in there where the family said, it was her request not to finish the series if something happened to her. So we will not be finishing the series. It ends now. And even though those were all a series but could stand alone, kind of stand alone also, like you could read it and still know what's going on. I liked reading them in order myself because, when they sometimes people would be mentioned, they were in earlier versions. And it's really weird if you read something and then it was the opposite. So you read it out of order. Because I've read a lot of mysteries that way. And like they'll kill off somebody, and then I'll read another book, and I'm like, wait a minute, they killed this person off. So this obviously was not in the right order. So, all right, well, let me get another timer started. 20 minutes, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I will see you in 20 minutes. All right. So that was another sprint. I see Jenna showed up. Hi, Jenna. I'm reading a different series in the Kennedy Fox. I think it annoys me the way they're doing this, but I think I know why. They've got a ton of series started, and then they get you hooked. But then as you get to you're running through the series, so they're all laid out. Then you get to, you can pre-order the next one here. It comes out in 4 months, and then it's like, damn, you want to read more. So it's either find another author, or you find a different series, and the same thing happens. So they're not like finishing a series; they just keep writing them, and they keep you hooked. So I think I understand part of why they're doing that, but it's really annoying as hell because I want to keep going, and I have to stop because I gotta wait so many. Some of them are weeks because it depends on how long it's been, how long they've been writing them. And so I was doing all the one series, like the bishops were all over the place, like in lots of different series. And then I get to the thing, and then I get to the same point. Pre-order your next book now, so it'll be ready when you'll have it when it's time, when it comes out. I'm like, not again. So it was very frustrating. If you're going to write a series, write the whole series. But I think that's just to keep you coming back. So they stretch them out, and they must keep writing a new one for this one, and whatever. Or they start a new series when they think they've come to the end of one. Some of them will cross over. I was like, I've heard those names before, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember they were in another series. So I think all of that is part of keeping. I can imagine she's not going to give me the answer to why they do that, because if that's their way of getting people to you know stay around and buy their books, because they got me, and now I keep hoping, and then I get so far, and then I get, oh, this one's not out yet. So like they have them planned out. They have names. They got a series all written out. It's on their website. But when you you'll find out they're not all available. They're not all written. So they keep it coming back. That one I have not read because it was the second or third book. In the first book I read that I hated, and I said, if this is what they write, I don't want to get involved. And luckily, I read a second one because I had gotten it free, and I enjoyed it. So I said, okay, they're not all the same, but I think I have that one. I haven't read it yet. It's not on Audible though, but I don't know if I want to read it because I didn't like the first book in the series. Though I guess technically, since they're calling it a series starting at not the first book, I think they're starting the series the book after it. So it's kind of and it was a real short one. I'm like, this is the shortest book I've ever read. It just says, wham bam and it's done. And I'm like, what just happened there? But But then the next one I read was so long, and it was just taken and drawn out forever. I was like, now we're going the opposite way. This one's taken forever to get there. And there's certain ones I'm not really happy reading, but I'm in them, so I'm not going to stop reading them. And I think that's what they bank on, is once you start reading it. So they give you the first one usually free, which gets you hooked on the series, and then you'll buy the rest of them, which is what I'm doing. But I won't be doing it forever because I can't afford to keep throwing out money for all these books. Yeah, that's a trap, all right. It's so easy to get hooked up, hooked into it, especially if they're well written. That other one, what's her name? I don't know what her name is. Whatever you wanted me to read. I never went back. I just didn't get into it, and I don't know. I can't see spending money on, and her books were expensive. So, I mean, it's bad enough paying $5 a book. To pay $10 a book for something I don't even like. Um, yeah, she's unique, all right. But I didn't even understand what I've read so far. It just doesn't make sense to me. Is that what it is? I was wondering why she's so much more expensive than most of them. Yeah, well, getting to the library isn't all that easy anymore for me. And then having to get them back in time, and it's a pain. There's plenty of free ones out there. But the problem is, you start reading it, you get hooked on it, and then you find out that it's only book one of the series. They don't tell you that. So you get to the end of the story, and you can leave it there. It'll end there. But by then you're hooked on the story, and you want to see what happens. So you end up buying the rest of the books in the series. So there's a lot of that out there. Like, you can get the first book free, but you're going to pay for the rest of them. And they know they can hook you up, and so Audible and Kindle, and you're good. It jumped around, but it works out in the end. Should I Swiss? It just didn't. None of it made sense. I don't know how many chapters I read. I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense in the world. Haven't heard that one. Not not aware of that author. And I swore I wasn't going to be buying books. And what am I doing? I'm buying books. And I've paid. When you add up how many books I bought for Kennedy Fox, holy cow! They're a little sad at times, but it's a lot of series. Her twists are great. Sometimes though, I know twists are in, and I've done it myself. But sometimes it really annoys me when everything's going just the way I like it, and then they throw a twist in there, and it just throws the whole story off. Sometimes that bothers me. Yeah, not sure I'd want to read about books that center around that. I mean, I just read a Kennedy Fox that was dealt with the um, pandemic, and they actually got the they got the virus. I mean, she still, they still made the story happily ever after, but we had to go through this whole thing with the virus, and then they get it, and the whole thing, and deal with the violence in the aftermath of people trying to get food and stuff. They didn't have food, so something happens because of that, and it's just like, oh, I had a problem with the story. I could have done without that. So, like Kennedy Foxes, there's a lot of different series, but they're still linked together. They're the same people. It's just that they're, a different series. It's like they start out the very first series, which was 6 books. And, one of them dealt with someone that was from Texas and a cowboy. So then the next series is the cowboy series dealing with her brothers, because she has 4 brothers. So then we go from the 4 brothers, and of course that brings in their parents and the family and whatnot. And then she goes from them. They have kids, and then she takes their kids and has them grow up and does books on them. So the series is growing. The family's getting huge. It's still the same family. So all the people, and then now the grandkids are having babies, so there's great grandchildren, and so far I think there's 3 of the grandchildren. Are they the grandchildren or the great grandchildren? I can't remember. No, I think it's great grandchildren. No, I think it's grandchildren now. I don't know if they're going to go to the great grandchildren or not. That'd be one heck of. There's so many kids, and they each have so many kids. They could write forever. But how do you keep coming up with so many different stories? I mean, you have to come up with so many. Yeah, one of her books touches on not only on the pandemic, and they warn you ahead of time, but they end up, the story has them getting the virus, and you know it's serious. They don't end up having to go to the hospital, but it's serious, and it's really scary. Like, you keep worrying, are they gonna end up in the hospital? What's gonna happen? Hi, Claude. You finished your, I guess that's Dungeons and Dragon game. We got half an hour left. Well, we got time for one more sprint. Tonight went really fast. I gotta try and get to sleep early, but I didn't. I slept late, so I may not. I may not fall asleep right away. We were just talking about reading right now, reading different books and series and stuff. I'm in a certain part in the book, though. I maybe have a hard time going to sleep until I finish it. And I've got 50% of the book left. So I may be up all night reading, or I'm just have to say, put it down and finish it tomorrow. You know, you get to a certain part in a book, it's like, oh, I can't put this down. This series all deals with them all being, they were all in jail. The guys were all in jail. And how they deal with, life after getting out of jail and whatnot. Still feeling that victory. Yes, but I'm exhausted a bit. We'll try to relax more in December. Uh, Paul says which series? I'm reading the Kennedy Fox. One of their series deals with guys that were in jail, and the girls all know each other. So, and for some reason, I don't know why, all the guys have been in jail. Not even in the same jail. It's not like they met in jail or something. These guys just happen to be in the same town, and they all go to jail, and they all happen to have girlfriends that are friends. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I made a list of the different books are in the different series because I don't know what I've read and haven't read. Character development. You know, you don't really get into much. I think it's more spread out throughout the book. They don't necessarily do a lot of. They really don't do a lot of character development. It's really spread out in pieces. They may have a little bit here and there, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how you prefer your characters to. They don't develop them in the beginning. They kind of do it throughout the story. They'll touch on something and then do a little bit of development there, and then they'll go on and they'll do something and they'll touch on something else. And they do a little bit with description, but really don't think they do a lot of character description. Sometimes they do a little bit about how things were when they were younger, or it's more about the story, it seems like, than developing. I think it's more about the story than developing the characters. I like that kind of sparkling of development throughout the story. Yeah, it's not like they start the thing out and go into a whole long, involved explanation of their character. They touch on it as you're going through, here and there, touches on it, and then they'll talk a little bit about that particular. I can say some books I like and some I don't. I mean, just because they're written by Kennedy Fox doesn't mean I like every one. Doesn't mean, like I said, I've read a few that I haven't liked at all. But because they were Kennedy Fox, I read them. But it doesn't mean that I necessarily like them. Just like when I read Sue Grafton's series, I loved her books. And I didn't run into any where I'd say, oh, this is awful, or I don't really feel like reading it. But Kennedy Fox has some that I simply don't like. It's just, I don't like them. So, it's, I've read authors where I love everything they write, and I've read other authors, and I don't like everything. And I hate when I get into a book only to find out I really don't like it. It's like, do you just continue pushing your way through, or do you just give up on it? Especially if you pay money to buy it. I mean, when I was going to the library, it didn't bother me. I would just take it back to the library if I didn't care for it. But these I've been paying for on Kindle. So, it's like, well, I paid money for it, so I guess I have to finish reading it. Let's see, I find it hard personally to like every work from one person. I don't think it ever happened to me. I've had some authors that I loved everything they've written, and I've had some where there are some books I simply don't like. And the more I push myself to go through it, the more miserable I become. It's like, do I continue reading this? Will it get better? I mean, I've had some that have gotten better the longer I've read them, and some that never get better. Some just suck. And I think it's, normal to not like everything that somebody writes. I mean, it's impossible to like everything that somebody writes. So, soon I'm going to run out of them, and I'm not going to have, except for anything new that comes out, I won't have anything. I've read through every book that they've written so far. That's all I'm doing is reading and sleeping and whatever. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I've done that before where I forced myself to finish a book, and I'm like, it never got better. And others where I've gotten further and finally, catch a spark and it seems better. I don't know. I honestly have never tried that. I don't know if you can return books on because it's if it was Kindle Unlimited where you pay for it, I think you just return a book and get another one. But when you buy a book on the regular Amazon Kindle, I don't know if they're returnable or not. To tell you the truth, never tried. I just forced my way through it till I get done it. That was the only good thing about the Kindle Unlimited. But I wasn't reading back then, so I wasted so much money paying for this every month and not reading any of the books. And then I get to a point and say, well, I want to get this book, and it says, well, you can't get another book until you return something that you have. And I'm like, well, that sucks because I didn't read them yet. So that's when I finally quit spending money there. It wasn't worth it. Yeah, I got rid of Kindle Unlimited a long time ago. I had it for months and months and months, and I'm like, I'm wasting money because I'm not reading the books that I got, and you can only have 10. And so I'd have to get rid of something to get another book, and I didn't read it anyhow. So I stopped the Kindle Unlimited. Now I just buy the regular Kindle books. But I won't be doing that for much longer, obviously. Once I don't have money coming in, I'm not going to be spending money on them. I'll have to just keep finding new authors that have free books. Well, the ones like the Kennedy Fox has an option for an extra $8 or so to get the Audible version as well as the Kindle version. So you get the Kindle version and you can listen to it as you're reading, which I don't understand why I would want to do that. If I'm going to read the book, why do I want to pay $8 or something for a Kindle Audible version? I used to have the collector syndrome where I saw a series and bought all of them without ever reading a word from the first one. Now I'm wiser, I think, and buy one at a time. Yeah, or the first book was good and the rest of the books sing. It does add up after a while. I'm doing this one at a time. As I finish the book, I'll get the next one. I'm trying to read them in order, but I won't be doing it much longer because I won't have the money for it. I mean, I like the what do they call it? Where instant satisfaction or whatever it's called. I like the fact that I can just click on the Kindle and I have it. The Kindle version, and it's there on my Kindle. Well, I read it on my phone, but I can, I have it, and I do like that. Oh man, I heard the Witcher series was good, but I've never read it. 7 books. Yeah, I usually have to read the first one before I would get involved in buying more. But I never bought books. I always went to the library, and then I got a lot of free books on BookBub. But they're the ones, like I say, you read the first one, it's free. But if you want to finish the story, you can end there, or you have to pay for the rest of the, you know, versions of it if you want to keep reading it. And I did do that to a couple because I liked the book so much. I wanted to see what was going on. So I have to be very careful, especially now. I mean, once I move into assisted living, there isn't going to be money to be thrown at books. So I'm going to have to learn to, read the free stuff. I don't know if they'll have a library there or not. Like we have a library here with books that people, donate it, and you can borrow and, donate and whatever. It's not huge, but there's a lot of books down there that I haven't read, so I have a lot of series to read. I usually read novels. Yeah, I have a few series that I picked up, books that I never ended up reading either. And then I used to have a spreadsheet, and it was very detailed with every book I read, and I wrote looked up each author, got all their books, put them in order in my spreadsheet, and then as I read them, I marked them off. That way, I could read them in order, because I like to read my series in order. I hate when I read a series and it's out of order. That bugs the heck out of me. But I lost that spreadsheet, so I at this point don't remember even It's not like I could go back and say, "Oh, I read those." Some of them I forgot. It's been so long I've forgotten them anyhow. Oh yeah, it was a spreadsheet, and it was very, very huge of every book I ever read. And each time I found a new author, before reading the book, I would look up the author online, find their whole list of books, find out where that book was if it was a series, and what I needed to get first before I could read it, and then find those books in the library before I would read that particular book. Yeah, spreadsheets. I do a lot with spreadsheets. I guess we're not doing another. I don't think anybody's riding anyhow, so I don't think we're doing another. What you call it, another sprint. I relate Tessa. Star Trek novels come into mind here. Tons of books, all interconnected. Yeah, I didn't read the Star Trek novels. I saw some of the movies, but I didn't really, wasn't that interested in them. I did that more to keep up with my ex-husband. That was his. That was his thing. Star Trek, and we'd have to go see the movies when they first came out. We'd stand in long lines. I hated that. Remember, we went to see one of the Star Trek movies. It was pouring. We stood outside for I don't know how many hours in this long line that went all the way around the building at least once, and we were soaking wet, waiting to get tickets to get inside, and then you try to find seats, which is a pain. It was hard to find seats together, and I hate this many people in here. I don't like it. Yeah, but that's one thing. Kennedy Fox has a thing on their website trying to keep everything, sort of in the order you should read them in. So they kind of try to help you out with what you should read first. Yeah, I'm sad to know where they all fit it. I understand that. Very much of a pain. And I hate to read things out of order. Like reading, well, watching a movie that's a series, and then you don't watch them in order. Same kind of a thing. now it's the month after Nano. People either be busy trying to edit or they'll take a month off. Things usually quiet it down around now once it's over. Yeah, the prequel thing, I never, until Star Wars, I never even thought about prequels. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now you're going to go back and tell me the story after I read the end. And, I went to the movies and saw the movies. Now you're going to put prequels out that are beforehand. Like, I don't like them. Don't like them at all. Hate the prequel idea. A lot of writers do that, though. Tomorrow's painting day. I don't even know if I should just keep painting. I mean, I'm gonna have painting in the assistant living. I'm kind of losing interest in it anyhow because they stopped it for so long because of the pandemic that kind of got out of the excitement of the whole thing. I'm gonna try to remember the girl if I go tomorrow. To remember to remind that girl I've got most of the stuff sorted out. She can come look at it, see what she's interested in. Maybe she'll take some of this arts and crafts stuff off my hands. I got a good sized box of stuff that I want to get rid of. No, this was kind of a chat. It wasn't much of a writing, that's for sure. I don't think anybody did any writing. We only had a couple people here. I'm not going to stay up, even if Courtney's got one later tonight. I'm not staying up. I have to go to sleep. I didn't get enough sleep last night, and I slept all through this morning with the aide being here. Ended up sleeping through it instead. I tried staying awake, but it wasn't working too well. And she's only staying for 2 hours tomorrow, so she's streaming now. It's probably where everybody disappeared to. There's a few people here that were here earlier and left. I miss her streams. I liked her streams. But I can't stay up. I have to try and go to sleep. I always liked her. There was something about her. I never missed any of her streams in the beginning, and of course that's when I knew where they were. Now I don't know when they are because, I used to get an email telling me when the different streams were. Now that they stopped doing that, I don't have my phone on, so I have no idea who's doing what, who's streaming. I use Devon's this if I'm looking for somebody, but I don't follow a lot of streams. I usually end up uh, just writing on my own when I feel like writing, which right now I don't feel like writing. So I'm not looking for streams to follow. I look for to see if Funky's streaming, but it's one of the few people I actually look up to see if they're streaming or not. I used to go to streams in the beginning, and like I said, I used to get emails of when the streams were. Now that I have to use my phone and use the notification thing, it's a pain because I don't like the notifications pinging on my phone all the time. I used to spend so much time on streams, and besides my own streams, that's all I ever did was on the computer. And now it's just like, well, right now I don't even feel like writing, so there's no sense finding the stream unless it's Funky. The Funky happens to be streaming. Yeah, there's a lot of times when there's nothing of it. Nobody wants to stream. Like right now, things are going to, the way they normally work, will calm down because everybody's tired. They just spent, 30 days writing like crazy. They're either going to continue because didn't finish, edit because they want to edit it, or take a break off for a few months before they start writing again or editing. So this month it might be a little quieter. I don't know how he does it because even as soon as I put mine up, it's on there. He must have some kind of software or something that pulls them in because I've put mine up and I go and look at Devin's thing and it's already there. So he's not sitting there. Besides, how could he? He doesn't know everybody. He can't go through and pull everybody up and say, "Oh, here's a stream. Put this on." So there's got to be some kind of software or something that he uses. Yeah, exactly. It's got to have software for that. You can't just. He'd spend his entire life going and trying to find people. And I mean, I don't know that he knows everybody that's on his list either. I think it just picks up somehow, some kind of software that picks it up. He does a great job with it for sure. And if you're looking for streams, that's the best thing to do. I had favorites that I used to go to all the time, but lately I haven't gone to too many streams lately. And a lot of people have stopped streaming that used to stream that I watched all the time. I don't know how many people I've, lost because they just stop streaming. Some take a break, some just stop completely. If you want to yeah, if you want to have conversations and stuff and be noticed, you want to go with the smaller ones. Because if you go with the larger ones, they don't have time to get involved in the stream, in the chat, and everything, So they don't really know you're there. They may glance over sometimes and make a comment if they see something that strikes their, fancy. But a lot of them, they're too big. They can't do it. My stomach hurts again. Well, stop for a couple hours and I got the stream. Now it hurts again. I think it's nerves. I'm just so uptight about what's going on and everything. I think that's what's wrong. I tend to get stomach aches when I'm nervous and upset. I've been to a few of hers. Heart breathings. That's Sarah Cannon. Sarah Cannon has a large following. She's another huge group. You like Sarah Cannon? Because that's a huge group. She's another big one. Yeah, I don't even go on Facebook much anymore. Well, heart breathings is Sarah's group. I have a bunch of her books to read too. She gave a bunch away free, and I downloaded them, so I've got them to read. I haven't really had a chance to read them. She writes about demons and stuff like that, so she's more supernatural. I've seen that name, Rhiannon Futch, but I don't know if I've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever seen her in action. 21. Are you talking about time wise, or you mean that many hours? That's 9 to 11. if you're doing time. Or do you mean just 21 hours to 23 hours? uh, okay. 9 to 11. mm, military time. I usually just watch reading sprints. And if no one is streaming, then I watch or read with me. The only reading sprints I ever got was Jessica Williamson. Jessica and Kate usually do their a lot of them together. Kate Kavanaugh, Jessica Williamson, and Kate Kavanaugh usually do them together. Though I think I've seen them separate as well, but they do a lot of them together. I look for streams on YouTube. If I can't find one, I use Tube Forest and do Sprint Solo. Well, see, that's what I used to do when I was. If I couldn't find somebody, I would just start my when I wanted to write. I would start a stream, and I just got so carried away. I was doing them forever, and they just kind of got to the point where I had to stop because it was way too much. But that's what I said. Well, if I'm going to do it anyhow, I might as well stream, And it's like next time I turn around, I was streaming all the time. But if nobody was following me, then it was just a waste of time. Sometimes somebody would pop in for say hello, and then that'd be it. Oh, good evening, Funky. I'm surprised to see you. It's just I know you weren't going to make. I mean, technically we are done now, so it is after hours. We didn't do much today. Nobody feels like doing much of anything. We had a couple winners, and now everybody's going to start winding down. Oh no, you're dealing with COVID. Yuck. Sorry to hear that. Are you sick or just, I mean, your close family or is it just family? That's what you got for Thanksgiving. I am so sorry. Yeah, my dad had it. He's the only one in our family who's had it. But he was asymptomatic, so nobody knew he had it till he got tested. Oh no. You're okay so far, but wife and extended family are sick. So it is hitting home. Sorry to hear that. Hope everybody gets well soon. There's so many different versions of it. Luckily, everyone there was vaccinated. So hopefully it won't be as strong. I mean, they still get it, but supposedly the vaccination is supposed to make it not as strong. Hmm. Take care of yourself as well as taking care of your family. It's Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Jenna. Check on her every morning, but she's surviving it. She's vaccinated. Yeah, which just goes to show that being vaccinated does not stop it. Hopefully, if they're right, it makes it less. Sheesh. Yeah, once one gets it, usually goes to the family. That's the hard part. Some people aren't allowed to get the vaccine because of some of the things they're allergic to. That's why they take a history before they give you the vaccine, because you can have well, of course I had a reaction to the booster shot and I got sick and ended up in the hospital. But I didn't have COVID, thank God. They thought I did, but they tested me and they said no, it's negative. Yeah, that's what they say, that it'll reduce the chance of infection that sends you to the hospital. Yeah. Well, I got one, two of my children that are refusing to get the vaccine. And my one daughter's a nurse and is refusing the vaccine. She says, nope, I'm not getting it, and my kids are not getting it either. Except for she couldn't stop the oldest one because he's an adult and he can do what he wants. So she had no choice over him. He went and got the vaccine on his own because he's an adult. She's like, my kids are not getting the vaccine. I'm not getting the vaccine. But my son won't do it either. He says, no, I'm not doing it. I don't, you know, I don't think they've got to the point where they're requiring it, but my daughter's job just required it, and she had to get a waiver. They said either you get a waiver or you lose your job. So she got the waiver, the one nurse. She said, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm not doing it. I don't think it's required yet at the schools. But a lot of jobs are starting to require it. My son's job, he says it was funny. He says, I got a day off, a paid off of work because they were giving the company a party. And they said, but you have to be vaccinated to come to the party. He goes, well, I didn't want to go to the party anyhow. So all he had to do was go set up the party and then he got to go home. So he said, I was paid for the time that, they were all partying. He said, because I didn't have the vaccine, I wasn't allowed to go. He says, fine with me. I didn't want to go anyhow. Uh, He says we have federal customers, and Biden made it where if you work with the Fed, you have to have 100% vaccination rate. Hmm. Bunky doesn't have to go back to work in person. Well, that's cool. Hmm. Melanie has to go back to work, but she's still allowed to work at home. But she's afraid they're going to start requiring her to go back to work in person, and then she's not going to be happy. She's not happy anyhow. She don't want to be working. Hmm. They've got to make it a requirement because so many people are refusing to do it. And a lot of people aren't working because they refuse to get it because the jobs are more and more jobs are requiring it. So a lot of people are not working simply because they won't can't get a job without the vaccine. Well, a lot of schools are still out, but my grandchildren all have to go to school in person. They just have to wear a mask every day. Is it weird that my professor teaches without a mask? Well, if it's not required, there's a lot of people who aren't doing it if it's not required. If it's required, then yes, there's something wrong. He should have a mask on, but if it's not required. All right, Funky. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. We hope to see you Thursday too. Have a good night. I hope everybody starts feeling better. It's supposed to be required but not being enforced. Well, there's a lot of that going on. I know our local grocery store says masks are required, but they're not enforcing it. So as long as you're not enforcing it, people are not wearing them. Later. Yeah, it's almost 11:30. I need to get myself into bed. Yes, it's been fun chatting. See you later, Claude. Have a good night. Thanks for coming. Around here, you don't want to joke about bed bugs. Jeez. They just had a roach infestation. Oh my god. And I called. I said, look, I have roaches in my apartment now, and I've been here 3 years and I haven't had any. And I said, I'm watching them walk down the hallway from the other side of the building, and that's where they just cleaned out an infestation of. The woman had was like one. They said one of those hoarders you see on TV, and so when they had to start cleaning out her apartment, they started moving, and they were just walking down the hall, and they could walk under our doors because they're open. It's like, there's an opening under the door. I don't know, half an inch, and they just walk right on through. And everyone I saw, everybody, you could see them, smashed all over the place because they're coming down the hallway. And I told her, I said, it's terrible. Well, I'm going to, guys. And thank you all for coming. I'm going to end the stream now. I have to get to bed because I got an early morning. Yeah, I hate bugs too. And now, thanks to that stupid woman, we've got bugs that we got to get rid of. All right, see you all Thursday, hopefully. Good night.